My homily for the fourth Sunday in Ordinary Time, the 29th of January 2023. Looking at today's Gospel, a hymn sprang into my mind, the one about turning the world upside down. Because in a sense, that's what Jesus does in today's Gospel, the Beatitudes as it's often called. He keeps using the word happy, but many of the things that follow are not what we would associate with happiness in worldly terms. Firstly, he says, happy are the poor in spirit. Now, we don't normally associate happiness with poverty, but by poor in spirit, Jesus means those who know their sinfulness and their need for God, those who have humility and openness. Then he says, happy are the gentle. Gentleness is not a quality greatly admired today, because although we might wish those who nurse us, for instance, to be gentle, it doesn't make a big impression, does it, in the world today? Doesn't win great victories, does it? But for me, gentleness is about treating people with deep respect and care, especially if they are vulnerable, and not taking advantage of them or acting in a superior manner towards them. We need more gentleness, I'd say. Next comes happy are those who mourn. Now that seems completely contradictory. How can you be happy and mourn at the same time? And yet there is plenty to mourn about in the state of our world. And we should always mourn for those who have died. So it's about an awareness of what's going on around us. It's good to be cheerful and positive, but we need to be realistic too and aware of other people's feelings. Next, Jesus says, happy are those who hunger and thirst for what is right. That's about a deep desire for what is right, wanting it as much as we want the food and drink that keeps us alive, and not giving up wanting it. Then comes happy are the merciful. Mercy isn't fashionable either today. We much prefer to speak of justice and restitution, but we hope to be shown mercy when we come to judgment. So let us be merciful, that when the time comes, we may be shown mercy. Happy are the pure in heart comes next. Purity of heart. Who of us has that? An undivided heart with no mixed motives or bad thoughts. But we can aspire to it. We can try to think the best of people, try to understand people and not be quick to judge. Then Jesus says, happy are the peacemakers. How we need them in our world of conflict. Help us, Lord, to be peacemakers, to seek to reconcile people rather than stir up conflict. Then we have our final two Beatitudes. Happy are those who are persecuted in the cause of right. And happy are you when people abuse you and persecute you and speak all kinds of calumny against you on my account. Now, we're not going to be happy under those circumstances, are we? But it is speaking of an inner happiness and a future heavenly happiness to which all the Beatitudes refer. True happiness is not found by following worldly ways, seeking advantage and comfort, but by following Jesus' way, doing what is right and good, whatever the worldly cost. Following Jesus' way of the cross. A hard road, but the road that leads to life everlasting. God help us to keep taking that road, even though we may keep falling away from it. God help us to keep taking that road.